Hi guys. Firstly, can I say how much has my hair grown? Literally, I mean, it looks a bit of a state at the minute, but since coming back from Cyprus, my hair has grown so much. Like I've trimmed it recently. So thank you, Kieran Cian. But yeah, it's just grown. Rico would have loved it because he always wanted to see me in long hair. Because of course, when he met me, my hair was up to here. Why was it up to here? Because Annie bleached her hair to the point where I damaged it completely. So any new hair that, as it was growing, when I stopped bleaching it, it would just break at the end because it was so weak. And then it's taken me, I would say probably 2 years or 2 and a bit years to actually have it grow to the length that it's grown. I mean, my hair, I have to curl it now. You know, I was born with curly hair, and then after Rico passed away, my hair went straight um, for no reason, just completely straight. So I can literally blow dry my hair straight, which I'm not a fan of, really, because I do like sort of curly hair. I do think it suits me better. I think my hair's so fine. I've got a lot of hair, but it's so fine that when it's straight, it has no volume. You know what I mean? It's like just hanging off my head like this. So, well, yeah, you see. So, you know, it looks better like this. But, you know, there we go. My hair's grown. I think the reason I wanted to make this video was really to talk about the fact that I am so glad that Rico's death has not made me bitter and it's not made me an angry person. When I see couples, you know, hand in hand, or when I see people in love, just like, you know, Valentine's Day is coming up and it's the first Valentine's Day without Rico since I've been with Rico, you know, and as I said, yeah, it's the money making thing. Yes, it's cliche, but you know what? Why not? You know, why not? And for me, Valentine's Day really became real when I met Rico because he was so romantic. And he would ensure that he'd get me flowers and, you know, it wasn't extravagant, but, you know, he made sure he did that. And as time went on, I sent him stuff as well. Protein boxes, not flowers, but, you know, and this year he's getting flowers, but generally that's how we used to do it. But we used to go out to eat and it was really nice, you know, despite the fact that it's cliche, despite the fact that it's money making, it was nice. It was just another excuse to get dressed up and go out. And I think that's what's made it difficult in terms of, because he was so romantic and we were such a romantic couple, that this year I'm not going to have that, you know. Of course I bought an engraved sort of grave vase and some artificial roses. Those roses are amazing. They are such good quality. So if you're looking for artificial roses, seriously, there's some really good ones out there. And of course I had to put it all together. Which, as I said in, you know, a post I put out, that it made me happy that I was doing something for him, because I like to make his space on this earth pretty. I like to make it look nice. I like to, you know, I go once a month. I make sure it's well kept. But at the same time, I thought to myself, how the hell did it get to this? Like, you know, at the minute, what we should have been doing, we should have been sort of preparing for our wedding, which would have been in August this year. We were going to get married in August this year. And instead I'm, you know, making something up for his grave. Like, that's when it hits me, you know, when there's moments of realization. But I'm really glad, as I said, that off the back of Rico passing away, it hasn't made me bitter. It hasn't made me look at people in love, or when people post about, you know, their other half or whatever, look at it and think, oh, you know, or become spiteful or resentful, like, because that would be a complete waste, wouldn't it? Like, what a waste of a beautiful love experience to become like that. Like, you know, and I know some people that do become like that, and this isn't a criticism of anybody. Like, everyone has their own sort of cycle of grief and their own way of sort of navigating that. But for me, that would have been so detrimental. Like, you know, I'm looking forward to the 14th. I'm looking forward to seeing all your feeds and, you know, all the love and stuff like that, because it reminds me of what I had, you know, and I had that, you know, that real, genuine, pure love. I had it. So when I see it, it just reminds me of that and gives me that warm feeling, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for the fact that it's not made me bitter or resentful or angry, or, you know, I'm just very much like, I'm going to celebrate my love through watching other people in love, or the love that I, you know, I had, or I guess I still have, you know, and that's another area, isn't it? Like for me, I feel like, although I know that Rico's passed away and I have actively tried to befriend the void and, you know, and not fill it with men or things, or, you know, I do, in my head, I'm in an active relationship with Rico in my head. So to the outside world, of course, he's passed away and I'm on my own. I never use the word single because I feel, and I don't think I ever will, I feel like that almost alludes to the fact that I'm available, and that's not the case. But of course, to the outside world, I am on my own, you know, but in my head, I'm still in a relationship with Rico. You know, I talk to him all the time. When I'll get dressed up, I'll be like, oh, babe, what do you think? You know, do I think I look nice? And then I think I make up a response in my head and I'm like, oh, thanks, babe. I know I sound like I'm going cuckoo. I actually sound like I'm going mental. I'm not mental, I assure you. I do know that he's passed away, but in my head, it's very much alive. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and this is why I love my friends. I love my friends. Praz, I'm sorry, I'm going to sort of out you here, but, you know, he's one of my good friends. I've known him since childhood, but all of my friends are just absolutely amazing. And in this conversation, you know, we did talk about the fact that I keep my relationship actively alive in my head, and the fact that there is going to have to come a time when I'm going to have to not keep Rico alive in my heart, but there's going to have to come a time when I have to stop keeping him and us alive in my head, because that's only going to hinder me in the physical world. I'm still part of the physical world, you know, and Rico will always be a part of my life forever until I die, you know, and I hope to reunite with him once I, you know, once I do leave this dimension. But until then, he is in the spiritual realm and I am in the physical realm, and life does have to go on, you know, and it's a sad conversation to have, but it's also a needed conversation because that is a fact. And there is going to come a time when I'm going to have to end. So you know, I almost told him it was okay to go when he was dying. And that was one of the most selfless things I've ever had to do, because that was fucking hard. Mind my swearing, but it was hard, you know. But I knew that I had to do that for him. And then I've kept him alive in my head, you know, and there will come a point where I'll have to let him go in my head as well. I'll have to be like, okay, like, you're in a different realm to me, and I have to focus on the physical while keeping you in my heart, rather than actively being in this relationship that only I know I'm in because it's in my head. And there is no timestamp on that. I know that. But yeah, you know, there will come that time. And my friend, you know, he was just like, it will naturally happen. You will naturally, you know, sort of not phase out of it, because it sounds like it's a phase then, but you will naturally progress through life carrying him in your heart rather than being in this active relationship in your head, which will give you the space to actively open your heart to another, you know. And I'm thinking, because that's scary, you know, that's scary, because I didn't want to actively open my heart to another. I didn't want to have to meet somebody else. I didn't want to have to start that whole process again. I'd found the person. I'd found him. Rico was the person, you know, and I'd planned my whole life with Rico, and I was happy, you know, with even thinking of lifing with him. That excited me to life with Rico, you know. I've planned our whole wedding, you know. I know my vows off by heart because I'd literally planned the whole thing and pictured the whole thing, and now it's like there's going to come a time where I will possibly have to get to know somebody all over again, you know, and that's scary. That actually scares me, because I didn't want to be in this position. Yeah, so that's just where I'm at really at the minute, just understanding that, or acknowledging that this relationship that I've got going on in my head with Rico is going to have to come to an end. But my friend assures me that actually when I do get to that point of ending this mental relationship and just carrying in my heart, and allow myself to open up to another, that it will happen so naturally, just like it happened so naturally with Rico, you know. Obviously I don't know, but I've never been in this position before, but yeah, you might see that actually I might look a bit odd because my lashes have fallen out. I am thinking actually I am doing them on Friday, and then I'm thinking not to do them anymore, just because I've got other things to save for. And of course, since Rico's passed away, financially plans have changed as well. So there you go.